Running on the spot, facing the wall, can be testing for even the most motivated of athletes. However, the treadmill is a great way to train, especially if you're confined to the indoors. So there are several tricks that can make the time go faster and various methods you can use to make sure you get the most out of your treadmill training. I've got a host of ideas and I'm going to share them with you today. Let's start simple and just pump up the tunes. There is no denying that having a great song is going to help you really embrace a run session. So put together a playlist that can really help motivate you through your run. And you can even use the music to help you naturally mix up your run session. So maybe you could go hard on the chorus, so upping the speed on the treadmill during the chorus and then slow it back down during the verse. Or if you're feeling really strong, even do it the other way around. And notice that you might even find you're naturally altering your cadence according to the track and the beat of the track. So if you do want to specifically work on, say, increasing your cadence, then try and find songs that have got a fast beat that will naturally help you do that. And you can also find plenty of ready-made running playlists that could maybe help with that. And sticking with audio, if you're, say, doing a steady run and you just want some nice distraction, then you could even use a podcast to help the time go by. Breaking up your run can do wonders for your motivation and prevent that treadmill boredom. And when it comes to the treadmill, there are so many options and it's really easy to change your speed. So you could keep it simple with some style of over-unders. Say you've got a threshold type running, you know the pace that you need to hit for your threshold. Well, you could do 60 seconds at 0.5 of a kilometre faster than that target pace, or 0.5 of a kilometre slower than that target pace. Or if you want to have a bit more of a variety, you could actually go 1 whole kilometre an hour faster and then drop it down 2 so that you're a whole kilometre an hour slower for the other 60 seconds. Sticking with the 60-second theme, you could do 60 seconds on, 60 seconds off, so going really hard for a minute, followed by really easy for a minute. Or you could maybe even vary it into some kind of pyramid session, so you do 60 on, 60 off, or 60 hard, 60 easy, and build all the way up to 5 minutes. So it would be then 2 minutes hard, 2 minutes easy in that pattern. As I said, the options are endless, and with a treadmill you've got time and speed really easily displayed in front of you, so play around with it. Even if you're doing an easy run, you can still change your speed slightly and it will just give you mini targets to help that time go quicker. I couldn't do a video on treadmill motivation without mentioning Zwift. I have to admit that it has personally changed treadmill running for me. I used to avoid it at all costs and actually quite enjoy having some sort of interaction, so it's a really good way to help you with your goals. So if you've got a current season's best entered into Zwift, you can then choose from a selection of sessions and it tells you exactly what pace to run and when, so you don't really have to think too much about things. You could also do a run along, so you're running with other people and maybe you get motivated by trying to beat people and that. And talking of which, there are obviously races, or you could even just do a time trial against yourself. But if that interaction isn't something you need, then maybe you just go on and run with Zwift, but you can ignore it, and then when you finish you can actually use it to just look at your virtual miles, and that's something I quite like because it's sort of another incentive to just clock up those miles. Treadmills don't have to be purely used for running forwards. Yeah, hear me out here. You can mix things up to get different muscles activated. But whatever you do, just make sure you've got the safety cord attached. So for this first one, you could do some very simple side steps, as that really helps to open up your hips and activate some slightly different muscles. So with the safety cord attached, put the treadmill at a nice slow pace and then simply turn to face one side and do some galloping actions in a sideways direction, and always make sure that you swap over and do the other side. And now this next one is maybe taking it a little bit a step further. If you're not confident, please don't practice this at home. But again, with the safety cord on, put the treadmill at a nice slow pace. And this time you're going to turn around and face the back of the treadmill. So you are walking backwards. And no, I haven't gone entirely mad, but actually by walking backwards and then even upping it to a slight jog backwards, is going to activate those hip extensors, aka your glutes. Running can be quite a social sport, but maybe for some reason you're stuck at home with just you and your treadmill. Well, that doesn't mean that you have to cut all social conversation when it comes to running. You could simply set up a video call with another friend and organise a time to run together. So set your phone up on your treadmill and then you can chat away. Maybe you're just going to suffer together, so you won't be talking, but you know the other person's going through it at the same time. Or you're doing an easy run and you can simply have a nice chat like you would do if you're doing something aerobic. Or if, say, you don't have a friend who wants to run at the same time, maybe you could even record some Instagram stories. I mean, who would do that? But then maybe if you're running in the gym, I would suggest leaving the calls or the stories until later. However, that said, quite often it'll be treadmills side by side. So if you do have a friend who wants to come and run with you, then you can simply run together and it could be your chance to keep up with that really fast mate. if you're using the treadmill for a general workout, then why not entirely think outside the box and mix it up and make it part of a circuit? So you could jump on for a couple of minutes of running and then jump off and do some body weight exercises, some press ups or squats or something, and back on again. Or if you want to do something that's really high intensity, then whack it up and just jump on for say 20 seconds and get off and do something else. And it's also a great way to use a treadmill, say you've only got one and you're a group of friends training, where you can all rotate round through stations. Hills are a great way to break up a run outside, so there's no reason that you can't transfer this to indoor training. After all, a treadmill has an incline setting, so why not use it? Even whack it up to the full gradient and put it down to walking speed. After all, you don't have to purely run when it comes to being on a treadmill. But I will say, please, please, whatever you do, do not hold on to the top of the treadmill when you're walking up a hill, as that defies the object of it, and you're not going to be recruiting those muscles which hills are so great for. And you could even play around with the gradient and your speed. So say start off jogging slowly or jogging at a comfortable pace at 0, and then you can up the treadmill by 1% and drop it by maybe half a kilometre or a kilometre an hour, and keep going up and see how far you can get. It's just a little bit of a challenge. Common to see runners with a slow cadence, so basically moving their legs slowly, which means with that a long ground contact time, so leaving their feet on the ground for a long time. This can lead to an inefficient gait and even some overstriding. But maybe you've already identified that you want to improve your cadence. Well, the treadmill can actually be your friend here, because as your foot lands on the treadmill belt, it's then moved underneath your body at whatever speed you've actually set the treadmill to. So you could maybe put it up to your maximum pace and then try running at that. Not only is it going to obviously make you run fast, but your foot is going to be forced to move at the speed that the belt is going. So you can do this as intervals. I'd recommend setting the speed first whilst you're standing with your feet either side of the belt, and then take your weight into your hands on the side panels and lightly run, so only partial weight is going through your feet until your legs have caught up with that treadmill speed and found that correct cadence. And then keep this up for as long as you can and simply reverse the move, so put your weight in your hands, lift your feet, and then you can place them down either side. Even if you're not wanting to focus on your cadence, it can be a fun way to get a short, sharp interval set. And one of my favorites was to set the treadmill to my 3K pace and then run at that for 20 seconds, simply put my feet on the side for 10 seconds rest, and repeat that 6 times through, which gives you a total of 2 minutes of running, and then reduce the speed, have a nice jog recovery, and repeat the whole set 4 times through. And it's short, fast, and a bit of fun. Just because you're confined to running indoors doesn't mean you can't use your favourite outdoor sessions and translate them onto the treadmill. Sometimes it just requires a little bit of motivation. And I know personally I'm always using any tricks I can find and constantly experimenting with ways that can make treadmill running that bit easier, as I cannot just get on a treadmill and run, whereas outside I can go out the door and be quite happy for hours. But anyway, please let me know how you mentally motivate yourself to run on the treadmill, and make sure you share it with everybody else. You can do that in the comments section below, and check out all of our social media channels, give them a like and a follow, and if you haven't done so already, then click subscribe to GTN.